just flown here to experience one of the world's biggest festivals, Durga Puja. Today is Ashtami, the 9th night, and we're spending the morning on our own doing some pandal hopping in South Kolkata. And then this afternoon, we're going to join up with Soham from Calcutta Capsule to see some of the pandals in the northern part of Calcutta. We have no idea what to expect, but we are so excited. By the way, in case you're new here, we're Steph and Pete, and we travel nearly full-time with our almost 5-year-old son Hayes. His birthday's tomorrow. And India is our absolute favorite place in the world to travel. We were last here for a couple of months in 2023, and we actually lived in Mumbai back in 2013. And now that we're based in Chiang Mai, Thailand, we were tempted by the short flight to Calcutta for Hayes' fall break, and then extra excited when we heard that it was Durga Puja.
I didn't even know what Durga Puja was a couple of weeks ago.
Durga Puja is one of the biggest festivals in India, especially here in Calcutta. It's a celebration of the goddess Durga and symbolizes the triumph of good over evil. The festival lasts for 10 days, with the last few being the most exciting. Durga Puja isn't just a religious celebration. It's more like a massive citywide display of public art. The streets are alive with art, lights, music, and food, bringing together people from all walks of life to celebrate.
This is amazing. Gosh, look at the size of it. There's like over 3,000 of these. You realize that?
Many of the over 4,000 pandals in Kolkata take innovative approaches, and the first we saw was a commentary on how, in the process of allowing technology to engulf our lives and fulfill our material needs, we destroy nature.
I'm really glad we're seeing this now, which is around midday, because there's no crowds. It's really quiet. So it's been a nice sort of like easy entry into pandal hopping that we're going to be doing, because tonight fishing it being a lot busier. We don't have much of a plan before we meet up with Soham as far as pandal hopping goes. I did plot a bunch on a Google map. I think some people are like really strategic. I plotted a bunch on a Google map. We just went to see one of those, but now we're kind of just going to wander in whatever we see on the way to the next map point. Pandal number 2 or number 3. Oh, it's number 3. Losing track already.
Our next pandal was another conceptual one. This one, as far as I understand, embodied the spirit of savings and is based on a Bengali cash box that's typically made of earthenware. So this one was covered in thousands of pots.
Lunch.
As much as India is my happy place, it's really nice to come have lunch with some air conditioning. I always forget how hot it is. Frankly, India is one of the most challenging destinations we've traveled to with Hayes. When we came here for the first time with him, we landed in Delhi in November when the air quality is really poor and he developed this horrible cough. Now that we're more settled in Chiang Mai, we're considering how we manage our health on the road a little bit differently, which is why we're intrigued with Safety Wing's new Nomad Health. It differs from their Nomad insurance, which we've had for over 3 years, in that it offers the flexibility to visit a doctor for non-emergencies, not just emergencies. It covers you in over 175 countries with no deductible for most visits, except in the US, and it could be a game changer for a family like ours.
That's very, very good. We're at a restaurant here and we're eating a delicious meal, and you could all that. It's very good. I think what I have on this plate, that is good, that's good. Put some of that in here. And this is salty. Let me taste it. Good. So, we have water in these golden cups, golden spoons, golden cups, golden bowls. And this bread is nice. This is nice too.
I don't know how I could follow that, but if I could just say one more thing about Safety Wing. If you are considering long-term travel like us, Nomad Health could be a really good option. It has comprehensive benefits, everything from hospital stays to mental health support, even maternity care. You can add dental and vision, and the claims process is super quick and easy. It takes no more than 14 days. It's even quicker on the Nomad insurance we're on. Safety Wing has been a long-time partner of ours, and I always say, and I mean it, their customer support is top-notch. So if you're interested, there's a link in our description. It's a short questionnaire survey type thing to see if you would be a good fit. You don't have to give credit card details. It's literally just to see if maybe this is a good option for you. So I highly encourage you to check that out. And now, instead of waving around my food, I'm gonna go enjoy eating it. And I'm so happy that India seems to be all of our happy places. So I'm excited to be here. After a short lunch coma, it was time to go meet up with an expert to see if he could shed some light to our Durga Puja experience. We were headed to meet Soham, founder of Calcutta Capsule, whose mission is to help you fall in love with Kolkata and experience it like a local.
We met up with Soham for the afternoon, and this tour began with a fresh kathi roll, this Pete's favorite.
It's already the best tour I've ever been on because it started off with that amazing kathi roll. That's like, I don't think I realized how much I love kathi rolls. And they're from here, Calcutta.
Soham explained that the first pandal we visited was one of the first in the city and actually started as a gym, but then later used Durga Puja as a front to continue to train freedom fighters of the Indian independence movement.
This pandal that we're going to, it started in 1918. And it was one of the first ones that broke the norm of Durga Puja being celebrated by elite families to coming down on the streets where the public started coming together to pool in money, but it was actually a facade behind which all the freedom fighters got together and started doing things to motivate the youth and train the youth.
It's like Jaipur, isn't it?
Absolutely wild that these are temporary. Soham said, and I read that there's 4,000 of these, I think we've said that a few times, but the festival is a $3.2 billion, is that what he said?
Yeah.
$1 billion festival. Like, it's so significant, and I had essentially never heard of it, which shows my ignorance, but it's like, now that we're here, it feels like, why wouldn't we have made this like a bucket list India experience before?
Okay, so why are we celebrating Durga anyway? Here's the story in a nutshell. There was once a demon who wanted to rule the world. He had asked for a special gift from the gods, and that was to not be able to be killed by a man. But Durga was not a man. Durga is a woman created by combining the best parts of all of the gods and goddesses so that she'd be strong enough to defeat him, which she did. And that's why we're celebrating.
It looks so permanent outside. It's hard to believe they build them just for this, but then when you come around to the back, you can like see how temporary it is. What's going on?
The gun one.
This isn't usually allowed, the gun games, but Soham said that when he did Durga Puja with his dad, he said it wasn't Durga Puja if you weren't playing games, and then suggested we all try this one, so cultural exception.
Oh, yes!
Would you like to swap that safety pins? The safety pins are not very safe there, so
Ask him if you can change it.
The next pandal was near Kumarchuli, the neighborhood where the idols are made.
this is their brainchild. A lot of the artists are involved in what they do here. So every year they make a very artistic, out-of-the-box thing.
And Soham was just telling us how sometimes the demon is not the same demon, they'll use it as an artistic statement or whatever. And this one is a poem that has to do with farmer hunger.
And hunger in terms of farmers' hunger. The kind of farmers' lives that Indian farmers have in terms of growing so much of food for the entire country. But yet at the end of the year, every time they are hungry, they go hungry, their children are not fed.
I had read that some of them are quite political, but it's cool to see how the holiday has taken on like so many different things.
It's crazy. It's only like 4:20 and these are like already starting to get busy. And then actually they like crowd control them, which is really good. So it's not just like a massive group.
That was really powerful, but also
Would you like the pandal?
sauna in these pandals.
Yeah. Good, right?
The reason I love Soham's tour, but also a lot of tours in India, is that even if they're not food tours, there's like so many stops for food. So we're stopping for a tender coconut, and every time that Soham says there's like something food related, we just had ice cream. Now it's coconut. Hayes' face just like lights up, because to be honest, he gets a little bit grumpy on these like walking tours with lots of information. So it's good to punctuate it with sugar.
And in his defense, like this is a particularly intense.
It's busy, there's a lot of information, it's very hot. So our number one tip for traveling with kids is just motivate them with sugar.
Including natural sugars like tender coconut.
This pandal was also a themed one and based on a really famous radio show that began airing in 1931 to mark the beginning of Durga Puja.
they've gone down the route of nostalgia. So, talking in terms of the festival, the entire story that I narrated about the goddess comes from a particular book called the Markandeya Puran.
Soham explained that it's extremely common for families in Kolkata, to this day, to tune into the radio at 4 a.m. on the first day of the holiday and listen to this program that describes the battle between the goddess Durga and the Demon King. It was performed live up until the 1960s, but is still extremely popular today.
This is not for the faint-hearted because it is a sea of people. But it's such an experience. They're just incredible. Like, everyone is so unique and different. This one looks even better inside than it does outside.
As you enter each pandal, you feel the heat rise as if you've just stepped into a sauna. But the adrenaline of experiencing something you barely knew about last week, but for millions of people is the most exciting 10 days of the year, quickly takes over and you forget you're drenched in sweat.
There's no way we could have done this on our own and had the same experience. We would have given up like 30 minutes into it. Before visiting our next pandal, we walked through Kumartuli, which is the neighborhood where they make idols, not just for Durga Puja, but for all other holidays too. The entire neighborhood is devoted to this craft, and a fun fact we learned is that all of the idols are air-dried, since after most holidays, they are submerged into the river.
This is my favorite part of the tour. We've just like come off one of these little side roads, and we're seeing all these little idols being made, painted, learning about them. There's no one else around as well, so it's just like really chill and just fascinating.
To conclude our walk through Kumartuli, Soham gifted us a demon head.
This does not have to be a demon head. You can paint it, you can put it up on the wall, name it, whatever value you assign to it, it becomes that. Because most of the stories that I just explained or narrated about Durga and Kali, they're not to be taken literally, but to be understood as metaphors or analogies to life. When I said Durga has to kill a demon that could change shape, it means that the problems in our life could come in any shape and size. When I said that Kali has to kill a demon that could multiply, I meant that the problems in our life could multiply and we have to deal with them in the way that we have to. But for now, let it remind you to kill all the demons in your life, just like Kali. But the crux of Hinduism lies not in the answers, but in the questions that it gives you.
Following the peace, quiet, and artistic calmness of Kumartuli, we were quickly thrust back into the chaos and encountered an intersection rivaling the busiest I've ever experienced, complete with a dozen overzealous traffic cops and a single string to hold us back.
Wow.
Guys, we stop at the left corner, okay?
Okay.
But fear not, once we emerged from the crowd, we were rewarded with pani puri, or rather, the Bengali version known as puchka.
What you've got to do is put it entirely in your mouth and let it explode with all the flavors that there is.
Full inside.
So guys, demo. Well done. Well done.
I said something earlier about the first chai in India, but really it's the first, I'll say puchka because we're in Calcutta, but the first pani puri in India is like such a special moment. It's really good.
How is it, guys? How's
Mine's
the taste?
Bellies full of puchka, we walked a little further to a famous sweet shop that, due to the holiday, was fresh out of their famous rasgulla. Hayes didn't mind and quickly demanded another option.
What do you think of that? What do you think?
Love that this is still classed as a small one. I mean, it's in the middle of the street. It's absolutely massive.
Pete made a good point at one of the last ones. He was like, can you imagine if you lived in a neighborhood and they were like, we're just going to take a month or longer and put up on this bamboo scaffolding and be under construction for weeks and weeks and weeks. And then for a full 10 days, there's going to be hundreds of people every single night lining up and da-da-da-da. Like in America, they would be like, but where am I going to park? It would just cause such outrage. Oh, so cool. This is a neighborhood one and it's meant just for the community to kind of sit and have a place to relax. And it's smaller.
Iconically, this is the first Durga Puja on the soil of Calcutta that has ever happened.
This location is symbolic of the tumultuous history of colonial rule and was a place where influential families began to forge relationship with the British East India Company after the Battle of Plassey in 1757, notably inviting them to participate in customs such as Durga Puja.
That was a really cool one to finish on. The OG.
Good old British bathroom to finish us up. Seems to be a good city for that.
We always, rightly so, we always get the good fashion.
Bye guys, bye. Thank you, Hayes. Yes, Hayes, happy birthday in advance, Hayes. Take care. Have a great birthday tomorrow.
For our next adventure, we're going to try to get home in Durga Puja traffic to the opposite side of Kolkata. That was incredible. Soham is a flawless guide. He designed a flawless tour. It was everything we love in a tour. Great info, personal information, really well paced. And he offers a variety of tours, not just for Durga Puja, with his company Calcutta Capsule. I will link that down below. And thank you again to Soham. Thank you to Ula for recommending him. And we're off to the villages tomorrow. We have no idea what we're doing. There's one more day of Durga Puja, and we'll see you in the next one.